Okay, hi. Welcome back. So last time we have discussed about the energy conservation formula, and we don't have we didn't have to consider the work done by other forces. So now we're gonna consider the work done by the other forces and the relationship of that to the energy conservation formula. Okay, so take note that in this formula, U here is actually the sum of the gravitational potential energy and the elastic potential energy, and the work others term here is just, we can write that as work others, is the work done by other forces. Okay, so that will be equal to K2 plus U2. Okay, so I actually have here an example pulled from the book University Physics by Young and Friedman. Okay, so let's just say that there is a block here, a block of mass m that is placed on a frictionless horizontal air track. So consider this surface here as an air track wherein there are actually air blowing upwards. So that air track will somehow minimize the effects of friction. So we can consider now that the system is frictionless because this is actually, we can actually think of this as it's levitating now in the air. Okay, so that is connected with a spring. Of course, we have a spring constant K, and it is being pulled at x equals 0.200 meters, and then we are concerned about its velocity at this point. Okay, so just like our previous examples, we're gonna label these 3 points as different letters. I can label my x equals 0 as point A, and my x equals 0.18 as point B, and my x equals 0.200 as point, let us say this is point C. Okay, so since the situation here for now does not include the force, so it's just being pulled here at this point and then being released. So you don't have to consider now, because you don't have to consider the work done by other force, because the system was just released. There, upon release, there is no other forces that would interact in the system. So you can just retain the formula that is K1 plus U1, and you'll have equal to K2 plus U2, or using our using our points here, we can just write it as KB plus UB is equal to KC plus UC. So take note that in our system, we don't have displacement along y-axis, so the movement is purely horizontal. So we can take into account that the GPE is already 0. Okay, so at point C, okay, at point C, since this is just being released from rest, as you can see from here, okay, it is released from rest, so automatic or kinetic energy at point C is 0 because there is no initial velocity for that point there. So you'll just have to derive for KB, because in KB we can actually derive the velocity at point P. So you'll have 1/2 mvb squared. Okay, so this one I'm going to transpose it to the right side, so I'll have my 1/2 kx c squared minus 1/2 kx b squared. Okay, so the 1/2 is common here, so I could just take that out. Okay, and then I will be left with um, mvb squared is equal to, I can factor out here the k, and I'll have my kxc squared minus xb squared. So finally my vb will be equal to, that is square root of k times xc squared minus xb squared, and this is over m. Okay, so from the one that we've derived, that is vb is equal to square root of k over m, and then that is multiplied by xc squared minus xb squared. Okay, we'll just have to substitute. Um, that is your vb now will become, the k is 5 newton per meter. 5 newton per meter divided by the mass, that is 0.200 kilogram, and that is multiplied by your xc. So my point c is 0.200 meters. This is still um, squared. I can actually use here a bracket, minus the xb, which is 0.18. Okay, and don't forget the square root. So my vb will be equal to this 5 over 0.2. Then you'll have 0.2 squared minus 0.18 squared. Okay, this is 5 over 0.2 times 0.2 squared minus 0.18 squared. So this is actually for 0.436, and the unit will be meter per second. Okay, so is this our final answer? So take note that this is the x velocity that we are finding here. So take note that also that the square root has actually positive or negative root. So what shall we choose here? So is it positive or negative? So we're gonna choose the negative part, because from our system earlier, okay, so this is the block now at point C, so it moves to that direction. So it actually goes to the negative x direction relative from this point C right here. So the final answer will be negative. Okay, so that is the reasoning behind this negative here. So where did we get that negative? Again, it's from the positive and negative of the square root. So it's actually like that. Okay, so suppose in the example earlier, we have the block as initially at rest. So that is in this part, and then this is the spring. Okay, so this is our x equals 0, and this is our air track. That is our air track. Just consider it as a straight line, um, and it has moved here at x equals 0.18 meters. So that is 0.18 meters. So we're gonna find the velocity at this point. So in this situation, the block is initially at this position, and then you apply a constant force. Okay, so since there is a constant force while moving this block from point, let us say this is our point A and this is our point B again, this part here, this part. So since we have already a force, so we need to take that into account in our formula now. So from the K1 plus U1 plus work other will be equal to K2 plus U2. So it doesn't mean that when the track is actually frictionless, you would already make the work others be zero. So take note that the work others, or the work other term here, is actually the work done by all other forces. Okay, so but since our body is initially at rest at x equals 0, so therefore our K1 is also 0, and since it is at its equilibrium position and at x equals 0 at point A, then we can say that that is also 0. So our work other here, okay, so if our K2, this is point A, and this is point B and point B, so we can see that from the formula this reduces to KB plus UB. Okay, so now we're gonna find VB, so we need to isolate the KB term. So you'll have KB is equal to work others minus UB, and then we expand 1/2 MVB squared is equal to work other is just actually the work done by a force. You have work is equal to force times distance, or you have the work is equal to force times delta x. So you'll have force times delta x here, and then minus the potential energy at point B, which is 1/2 kx b squared. Okay, so I'm not gonna cancel out the 1/2 here. So, but first I'm gonna multiply both sides of the equations with 2 over m, and then, okay, I will write in this leftmost part. So I will be left in the left side with VB squared is equal to 2 over m, and then you'll have the force times the delta x, then that is minus k over m. So the 2 here in the second term will just become 1 because it will be multiplied by 2. So you'll have 1/2 times 2, that is 1, and then you'll have k over m xb squared. So finally you'll have VB is equal to square root of 2 over m, and you'll have force times delta x. So that, take note that that is multiplication there. So this is minus k over m, and then you'll have xb squared. So substituting, we'll have 2 over the mass, which is that was 0.200 kilogram, times the constant force, that is 0.500 Newton, and that is multiplied by the displacement, which is 0.18 minus 0, so it's still 0.18 meters. Okay, we're just gonna include 0 because our delta x is just xb minus xa, where our xa is still 0. And this will be minus, this is quite long, so the force constant earlier, I think that was 5 Newton per meter, divided by the mass again, that is 0.200 kilograms, and the xp, which is 0.18 meters squared. Okay. So your VB here will be, so take note again that this is plus or minus, this is plus or minus, you'll have 2 over 0.2 times 0.5 times 0.18, and that will be minus 5 over 0.2 times 0.18 squared. Okay, I'm gonna repeat. Minus 5 over point times 0.18 squared. So I actually got here 0.3 meter per second. Okay, so that is how you take into account the work done by the other force. So you need to take into consideration also the state of the system. Was the force being applied during the movement of the block here? So in this case, a constant force was applied, so that's why we have the work other terms. Okay, and since the work other is just done by a simple force, simple pushing force, just like that, so we can actually calculate for the work, that is force times distance, and then we plug in it here, and then just did the math in deriving the VB, and we arrive with this answer. Okay, so let's take this example wherein a child with a mass of 40 kilogram accidentally falls from a height of 5 meters onto a trampoline. The trampoline can be modeled as a spring with a spring constant of 3000 Newton per meter. So let us say um, maybe we want to solve here a find the okay, how can we say that one? Stretch, okay, you can say stretch vertical length, stretched vertical length of the trampoline. Okay, so maybe we can consider as a point, as a particle here, mass m. Okay, okay, that's a child there with mass m, and then falls to this trampoline here. Okay, and then upon hitting this surface here, it will actually elongate, it will actually stretch. Okay, so we're gonna find this we're gonna find that delta y. Okay, so this part here is our y equals 0, and this is our, let us say, y final. So your delta y is actually yf minus 0. Okay, so we can do it like that. And the height is actually 5 meters. Okay, so we can label this point here as again a point A, and we can label this point here as our point B. Okay, so take note that we have um, key A plus UA, that should be equal to KB plus UB. Okay, so our KA here, since okay, we can assume that this is somehow 0 because it's just an accident na it falls start at rest, and the KB we can assume that as 0 also because of the maximum compression here, maximum stretching here in this part. So there will come a point here that VB equals 0. Okay, so you'll have this expression UA is equal to UB. Okay, so if we expand, so take note that our U is actually a sum of the potential gravitational potential energy and elastic potential energy. So you'll have um, we can say EPA EPE A plus GPE A is equal to EPEB plus GPE at point B. Okay. So let us say that now in consideration of our GPE at point B, let's consider that this is our YB equals 0 also for the consideration of the GPE part. Okay, so when that happens, this will be equal to 0, and then at the point A there is no actually the presence of elastic force, so this will be also 0. So you'll have here technical in short in speaking, um, you'll have GPEA is equal to EPEB, wherein your gravitational potential energy at point A will be totally converted to elastic potential energy. Okay, so this will be equal to MGH, and this will be equal to 1 half K KYB and KYB squared. Okay, so your YB will be equal to 2 mgh over K, and that will be square root of that. Okay, so trying this one, so you'll have YB is equal to square root of 2 times the mass, which is 40 kilogram, times the gravity, 9.8 meter per second squared, and again that's multiplied by the height, which is 5 meters, and this will be over the spring constant, which is 3000 Newton per meter. So our YB So you'll have 2 times 40 times 9.8 times 5 divided by 3000. So this is actually 1.14 meters. So from this point here, okay, from this point here, um, okay, so okay, so this means that when the child hits the surface of the trampoline actually stretches an amount of 1.14 meters. So earlier, in the consideration of the GPE, okay, so when the body of the child actually hits the surface of the trampoline, so that is when we can consider that there is that is the full conversion of the potential energy to kinetic energy. Okay, but however, we let that to find the maximum compression in this part, okay, or the let us say the elongation of this part. So we let that kinetic energies again will still be fully converted to um, elastic potential energy here. So that's why we only have this expression here also. Okay, so we cannot let the YB here be equal to 0. So we just let that as question mark, which is with what we have solved earlier. So it that is the reasoning there. Why is it that your GPE at point B is also equal to 0? Okay,